Tony.
Well, hello.
Hello.
Tony, do you spell your name with 2 N's?
No, I don't.
Oh,
But
I just
did.
noticed that. Okay.
I did not.
Somebody
That's
did.
tough.
Is that Jamie?
Well, that's Tony in the upper left. To the right of him is Bree, and down at the bottom to my left, I guess, is Jamie, and my name's Bobby, and this is Bobby's Cryptid Corner.
Yeah.
Yes. So, how's everybody doing? It's been a week. It's been 2 weeks since we've had Bobby's face on the
Good old
screen.
Bobby in here, I know.
Sorry. It just
Every time
becomes
you're gone.
Corner.
Yeah, the namesake of the show.
Sorry. I said I don't want my name on it anyway, but it does have a nice ring
But
to
it
it.
sounds
It
so
does.
good, though. Unfortunately,
It does.
like
It
we
rolls off.
we dabbled with maybe changing the name to something else. But Bobby's Cryptid Corner just sounds so great.
I was telling someone the other day that my dad wanted to name me Ernie, not even Ernest, just Ernie.
Ernie.
And I was thinking Ernie's Cryptid Corner would definitely work as well.
Mhm.
I don't think it sounds as good.
It'd
All
have
right.
to be Ernie's Eerie Corner. It'd have
Yeah,
to be like
Ooh, I like
paranormal.
that.
Yeah.
In another
Yeah.
dimension that happens in the multiverse.
I like that. I like that,
Absolutely.
actually. That's kind of cool. We need to find someone named Ernie now.
We do.
So we
Just
can
start
have
a
a
new
show.
show.
We have a question.
Good
What
luck
is our
finding
drinking
somebody.
game tonight?
What is
Ooh,
it?
tonight
Oh, yes.
we are
Ton-
going to drink anytime someone says Loch
Loch
Ness.
Ness.
Didn't see that
You know
coming.
what? Can we even just say Loch? Like,
Mhm.
Just any version of Loch Ness or Loch Ness Monster or anything like that. We're gonna go ahead and drink. We got Loch Ness down there drinking a little
So
drink.
Nessie is not a drink.
Nessie, we could say is a drink. Any variation of Loch Ness, I feel like is a
This
drink.
isn't even a
Yeah.
game at this point. It's just drinking.
It is a little bit, yeah. But that's
absolutely not.
that's
Someone
kind of
is
the
drinking
charm.
water.
I like it. Yeah.
no, I don't have water.
Hey, do you guys want to come over and play that game at my house? Drinking.
Yeah, absolutely.
So fun. I love that.
I love that
Hey.
game. That game
I-
is great. And when
I
it pops
say
up,
water.
Pretty athletic at that game.
yes.
Pretty
And when it
great at
pops up, Bobby gets slapped in the face with a whale dick.
Yes.
He
Oh, are we talking
does.
about whale dicks on this episode?
Do
Oh,
it.
yes.
I'm so
100%.
excited for that.
I'll also be
We
smoking
are.
wreaking havoc. Gordon, go ahead and cheers to you. Bobby said game drink. Yeah. That's what Tuesdays are about. That's why we do it later at night. It's a nice night stream, a little Tuesday, little nightcap, and a little cryptids for you. So if you smoke them, got them. If you drink them, got them. Do whatever makes you happy.
Yeah, back in the
It's
day, I used to get
Tuesday.
very excited for Mondays because of WCW Monday Nitro in the late 90s. And I have that same feeling now on Tuesdays. It's like the beginning of the week, but I still kind of look forward to it because
Oh, yeah.
we all get to hang out.
I
And
love
if
that.
if everyone didn't notice, we're wearing our swag today.
Yeah.
Two of you guys are. We got Toddy Bob or Die. We got Tuesdays are for the Cryptid. Me and Bobby don't have ours on because we're lame. So we'll be done here at the bottom.
I think it should be 2 people tops, so it doesn't look like we're really plugging the shirts. Like it's
No,
just
I
like, oh, we just
disagree.
happen to be wearing it right
We're
now.
just wearing
I
all these shirts on the
disagree.
same
I feel like
day.
it would be hilarious because it would look like we are in uniform and we're showing up
Mm.
to our Tuesday Cryptid shift to clock into.
Mhm.
We're
I'm gonna
clocking
make
in
us-
Cryptids.
I'm gonna make us bowling shirts with like embroidered nicknames.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
That would be
please.
so
Baby.
cute.
Oh, yes.
Goat. Yes, please.
Goat,
Listen, I'm trying to
Tony.
get enough merch so that every single day I can wear a Toddy Wabba shirt
Yeah.
and not wear any normal clothes, just everything Toddy Wabba.
Well, we're pretty normal.
Yeah.
Something, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I dress
Well,
like an 8th grader.
Like I have a
I do
shirt
too.
that says like super purple swag on it with little pot leaves, you know. Just
oh yeah,
whatever I
that's
found.
like
Hell,
that's like some cool
yes.
shit you can get at the Goodwill. I went to the Goodwill today, and there are some crazy fucking t-shirts. There is this one with this giant pig face with like all these necklaces and these glasses and a crown, and it was like chains and it making it seem like it was some thug pig. I was very confused.
Did you buy
I
it?
was just like, what is
Yeah, you
this?
should have bought it.
Because
Yeah, why?
I pulled it out and I was just like,
I will
I was
say I went
so
to,
confused.
I went to a Goodwill by your house with your sister the last time I came down and visited, and it was like during COVID time. and it seemed that maybe someone had passed during that time, and their entire closet was like in a section that she was going through. She was like, "Look at all these old man shirts," and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's somebody."
This is
Good
a
old
dead
friend
man's
down the road
wardrobe.
kicked the bucket.
Yes.
Ooh,
They're
Dead
all
Man's
haunted.
Wardrobe. That's the title of the new Pirates of the Caribbean movie. Dead
Is
Man's
it?
What?
Wardrobe.
I
No,
didn't know
just
there
made
was a
that
new
up.
Pirates. Oh,
Oh my God.
Oh,
Never mind.
Jack
Oh my
Sparrow and the Dead Man's
Man's
Wardrobe.
that
Oh,
sounds
that's
like
cute.
that sounds great. It sounds very convincing.
I know.
That's
I
good
love
shit right
that.
there.
That's awesome.
So today,
Let's get
We are
into it,
talking-
What's
guys.
happening today?
what's happening today is we're talking about the Loch Ness monster.
The second most famous cryptid on the planet, I would argue, and definitely the most famous aquatic cryptid.
I would definitely say when
Oh,
you
yes.
think about cryptids, you think about like Loch Ness, Bigfoot, Mothman. Like those are the big ones. It's like the big, the superstars, the rock stars of cryptids. I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I just.
Oh, we got a
I don't
wild
know.
man in the boat with us.
Hey, that's supposed to be Bigfoot.
It's a Bigfoot.
It's the Bigfoot.
And he's got marshmallows. It looks like. Oh no, he's hitting a drum.
Looks kind of racist.
Dum, boom, boom, dum, boom, boom, dum, boom, boom, dum, boom,
Love
boom,
it.
boom, dum.
Just
Is it racist?
Rare.
Is it racist? I don't know. Is it?
I don't know.
Animal.
I feel like everything's
Okay.
racist these days.
Well,
Yeah,
Bigfoot
so-
can tell us what he feels. About
Yeah.
it. Then we'll know.
Yes.
I don't play fucking drums, you white assholes.
Anywho, all right. Where does
All
this all
right.
begin?
So the origins. So I was looking it up because even its Wikipedia file, which you know is 100% facts all the way, the
For sure.
loch, it doesn't have like when the loch was formed. So I had to separately look that up. And according to geologists, that area was formed 400 million years ago, which might be interesting with the idea that it could be a plesiosaur.
Ooh.
Yeah, absolutely. If it's that long ago, that makes sense.
So it
Does anyone-
definitely definitely
have any-
existed.
Does anyone have any good Scottish accents? Schoolish.
I do not.
No.
It might be
You know what? I usually can pick it up when I'm
It's like-
like watching Outlander. I haven't watched Outlander in a while, but they're like he'll say some things and then I'm able to copy it. But off the top of my head, it's difficult.
I can usually nail it after I've watched Braveheart in its entirety,
Mhm.
and I'm
Oh.
pretty decent at it for like a week, and I can't break the habit. And it gets super annoying. But then I couldn't do it on demand right now. So
Right.
Yeah,
Any
my
whoozle.
gosh. Yeah.
we don't want to offend anyone in Scotland either.
Yeah, they're kind of a burly
They're
type.
We're
a
so far
wily,
away,
drunken
forget it.
bunch.
Yes.
Kidding.
So the depth, it's actually a really large. They call it a loch, which is just, I don't know,
Lake.
Slang.
Great British for lake.
British for lake.
So the depth, it's really deep and it's really long. So at its max, it is
Wow.
750 feet deep and 23 miles long. Most of the measurements are in kilometers for some reason. I don't know why they don't use real measurements.
Not
But
only is
it's-
the Loch Ness monster getting sexy, the lake itself is as well.
It is.
It's quite
Very.
phallic. Drink.
Largest volume of fresh water in Great Britain, which I think is going to lend to a lot of the reasons why people say they see things there.
Oh,
It's
Mm.
such
Little
a big
foreshadowing.
area. It's such a big area, and water is weird. Water acts weird, especially in a really big lake. It does weird stuff with currents and tides, and
Well,
and I'm sure
also-
that people will argue that there's giant underground, tunnels and things going out into the ocean, and that's why it's hiding and you can't find it.
right.
Oh, for
Yep.
sure. That's there. But also water is one of like the key elements when things are strange. There's like, people have their like paranormal checkoff list, or even like David Pilates for Missing 411, like by a body of water. It's like water seems to be one of those main key points or elements for when strange paranormal or like fringe things tend to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Do you think
it's holding energy and information, in my
it feels
opinion.
almost like a chicken or the egg thing? Do you think like the portal affiliated with like kind of a ripply water pond came
Right.
first, or did they project the perception of that from looking at like mysterious things that actually came out of actual water feature or lakes or rivers or whatever?
I would also think part of it comes from too the idea that like, okay, so water is the magic ingredient, right? That's what everything needs to survive. So of course water is going to have this kind of more magical tie to it because it is literally life bringer. You know what I mean? Without it, you would not have the life that we have today. So maybe that lends a lot of ideas to maybe like a lot of especially Native American lore and lore that goes back, way back before the beginnings of times, kind of a thing.
Do you guys small side tangent, do you guys like what's your, I know Tony's answer, I think, but like what is y'all's sources of water? Do y'all like drink glasses of water every day?
Yes.
Okay, that's like you're supposed
What do you
to
mean by that? Like
are you guys are you guys drinking water every single day?
Yes.
Absolutely. Like, why would you not? Like, that's just fucking weird.
I just feel like there's days where I don't sit down and just drink a glass of water.
Oh my God. There's days where I'm haunted if it's the evening and I look back at how much water I've had and it hasn't been like substantial enough, then I will just like drink a bunch of water before I go to bed.
I keep like big gallon things inside my fridge, like the one with the little pull tab that you get like the water out of.
Yeah.
And then like here where I live, I can like walk like right around the corner and like fill it up for like 25 cents. It's like right here in the little apartment complex.
So on that note, I drink, let's say this. I don't drink water out of the tap or bottled water.
Neither do
I. Like probably 5 or 6 like LaCroix style or like sparkling waters.
You drink that shit?
Baby, no.
That doesn't count as a water source?
No.
If you're trying to hydrate yourself?
Isn't that just...
It's just carbonated water.
Yeah, it's pop without sugar.
No, there's like sodium in it. There's sugar. There's all sorts of things, preservatives inside of it. Yeah, the whole point of water.
All right,
is
let's get back to the Loch Ness monster.
All right.
So
listen, the only reason why it matters though is because your sodium is going to make you more thirsty. It's really just a gimmick to get you to buy more of it. Like Dasani is the number one don't buy because it's like keeping you in a circle of continuously wanting to get another water or drink because it's also dehydrating you at the same time. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's like the extra sugar content in Coca-Cola at McDonald's makes you crave salty food.
Yeah,
it's delicious.
So now I know that when me and Bobby finally meet, I'm gonna get him a Perrier. And
that's fine. I'll drink the French shit.
That's the best one you could drink, actually, because I think that Perrier does not have. It either does have sodium or it's a super low amount.
And also, isn't like the water like over on that side of the pond actually thicker than like American water? There was like a whole documentary I watched.
What does that mean?
There's like a whole there's a whole documentary I watched where like
it's the consistency of chocolate milk.
It's on Netflix, yeah. And like the water over there is like literally thicker. It's like more because there's like minerals and actual
there's more
stuff
minerals and nutrients and shit. Okay. Well, I'm gonna look at the ingredients on the sparkling water that I drink regularly, and I'm pretty sure it's just water with carbonation in it. But
you should probably check, yeah.
All right, fair enough. Everyone drink 8 glasses a day.
Yeah,
start working
or if you can.
I thought it was going to be like this question. Like, yeah, of course. We all fucking always drink water. What's wrong with
instead, we're like, why? What's wrong with you? Why?
I was like, oh, yeah, Bobby, you never met us. We literally get off track so easily.
Don't be drinking out of plastic either.
No, I opened up that box. So.
Yeah. Yep.
You did. All right.
No water bottles.
Back to the
plastic.
Back to the Loch. So what I want to point out in this picture is you see this old castle right here. So people have lived near this for a very, very long time. Bree, if you would. So whoever can say that word, Pictish.
Pictish stones.
The Pictish stones, carvings of this unidentified animal made by ancient inhabitants of the Scottish Highlands 1,500 years ago. Kind of looks like it might be. Is that a fucking horse?
It's
Water
not a
horse?
horse. It's not an alligator. It's definitely not a elephant.
It almost looks like a duck, but like with the body of a monkey.
I was like, yeah, there's so many animals. I feel like
And he's very ashamed of himself.
Yeah, he looks very
He's got his
depressed.
head
Very
down.
depressed.
Well, it's in the water,
ashamed
though.
duck hieroglyph. Yeah.
So it's the thing about this picture or this carving is that it's in the water. So it's depicting some type of, water creature that we don't recognize. They're in Loch Ness. And the Pictish, so it was the Pict, P-I-C-T, and that were just painted people. When the Romans came first to Scotland, there were already people there, of course, and they had like tattoos and very tribal-esque, and that's what they would call them, the Pict, for painted people.
Wow.
Drink the natives.
Always the natives.
Yeah, so this is like the first
early reference.
Yes. Do you feel like going over this, or
I'll let you.
Are you guys familiar with the story? Okay. So Saint what's his name? Saint Columba. He was the first person to basically bring Christianity over to Scotland.
Bastard.
And in a biography about him, and I just copied the actual script here, but it's in Latin, so don't even try. So basically in this biography, though, he's telling a story of how they're on the shore of Loch Ness.
Oh, shit. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Slacking.
Almost my last year.
He sees, that was quick. He sees someone splashing in the water, kind of going a little bit crazy, and then realizes that there is this giant sea creature, animal, kind of like a whale, going after this man, with its mouth open, teeth and everything, going after this creature. And in his biography, he said that he put his hand up and said, "I command in the name of God."
Oh, God.
Think not go further, nor touch thou the man. Quick, go back. And apparently, of course, because he had such power and because he called on the name of the Lord, the Loch Ness monster was like, okay, skirt, put it in reverse, Terry, and then just swam away.
Or does this also just lean to that idea that we've talked about several times, where you invoke the name of something you believe in, and then all of a sudden, whatever you're dealing with, this appears. So
I don't know, but that would mean that then the creature would somehow be linked paranormal, like in the paranormal realm, opposed to it possibly being some type of sea creature that we just haven't categorized yet. You know what I mean? So
why can't it be either?
Very interesting. It can be whatever you want it to be. It's just I don't even know. It's a bit weird. I obviously don't believe the last part, but it's just interesting
about the lake creature swimming away.
No, the story is interesting because this is from, in the biography, this is from 565 AD. Mm-hmm. So this is not, when we think of Loch Ness Monster, we most likely think about what we're going to get into. But that's very recent times compared to 565 AD.
Sure. Yeah, I think
so it's we have those people, the natives, and then this guy. It's always the natives.
And sea creatures in general, or lake creatures in this case, are they are from, you could find stuff about them in the Bible, it is an ancient archetype, whether it's real or not.
Jonah
so I would say arguably that as far as documentation goes, and I'm just kind of pulling this out of my ass, I'm not 100% sure, but Loch Ness might be, or these types of aquatic creatures might be, the oldest accounts of cryptids we have.
Well, and who's not to say, though, if you're thinking about something that's old, though, is it not outside of the realm to think about that this is not maybe just some type of dinosaur that possibly could have escaped extinction because it can live underwater? So it's just a living, breathing version of something that was alive a long time ago. And so you have this underwater sea creature before, we developed into humans, and that's why it's there.
Right. So it's like,
did we? Someone is slacking on the drink button. I think
I hit it like 3 times during that. Sorry.
Let's say let's go with like the comet theory with the dinosaurs real quick.
Okay.
I was going to ask something about that too.
And I don't know. You guys may not have the answer to this either. If anyone in the chat, like, wouldn't basically the seas boil?
Right.
Yes and no, but not all of the seas. Like, so where the impact
you go deep enough.
So where the impact would be like the hottest, right? And then like near surfaces. But like, yeah, if you went down and you were on the other side of it, it's not like it might go up a few degrees and that might actually kill things like certain smaller microbes and organisms. But maybe something as that wasn't as susceptible, especially if it's up in that Scottish area where it's really cold and you got Arctic waters. If it only heated up a little bit, I can't imagine it's going to fuck with something of that size's environment that much.
Okay.
So I have a question though, because when the crater hit, it hit and created the Gulf of Mexico. So that was the location where the crater hit. Okay. So I mean, technically, I'm trying to think, because of course I think of things as a map of the United States opposed to being like a map of the world.
Of course, yeah.
But I'm trying to think like how far those distances realistically would be.
So that area is like on the bottom side of the equator, where Scotland is more up here. So they're really more like in more opposite areas.
So they're like this and not like this, because for some reason,
they're more like this.
I think it is kind of interesting that it's a pretty far distance north to south and east and west from.
It's over
the crater impacted in what, like Central America or something.
It's the actual Yucatan Peninsula.
Okay.
Well, and you also have to bring into the idea, I think we've talked about either on one of our other shows or this one, but the idea of like maps and what we see as a map is a very Americanized version of what a map is, and that's not actually what our globe looks like. And so when you look at a map, the proportions are like completely different. Like Africa is way bigger than you think it is. It's made to look smaller so that America is more prominent. They put America more in the middle, so it's like that, and it's actually like makes more sense to like look at it the opposite way around. So I think, Bree, you're maybe just thinking about like a traditional map of like how they're just right on top of each other. But the reality of it is they're really not.
It's also when you expand a round Earth, we're going to go with the Earth is round tonight. Into a flat surface, there's going to be distortions just because you're adapting one 3-dimensional shape to a two-dimensional shape. But what I was saying is, like, if you think about it, like, okay, let's say Yucatan Peninsula, let's go with the comet theory. Like, the furthest distance is basically the North Sea. Like, one of the further distances, I would say. As far as if the comet hit and boiled the seas only to a certain amount of distance, if that makes sense.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Because it's going to dissipate. The heat it's going to dissipate over that huge, gigantic ocean area.
And then if we want to go with the like dinosaurs evolved into birds or whatever. One, this isn't a land lizard, right?
Nope.
No.
And it's already like seems pretty optimal for its environment. So I think you could even argue this
is its final form.
It's peak apex final form.
Yeah. Bam. There you go, Brie.
It's like extra 4,000 miles away, or extra. It's like 4,600 miles away or something.
That's a pretty good
this is flat.
But we have no idea how big this comet was.
This is not a traditional map, my love.
Yeah, I'm saying traditional as in like what we're used to looking at.
Yeah.
Which is traditional, not accurate. Just, Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I don't know. It would be interesting to see what other effects maybe it had on the area to then see if that could be at play or not.
Yes.
Boil the sea? No, come on, bro. Oh, sorry.
I've
You
always
never
heard that
know.
a comet would boil. The
Yeah, because
sea.
it would be
I
hot
don't
because
fuck
as
with
it's coming through the atmosphere, it's burning up. So it'd come in as a big ball of flame. So when it went into the water, it would obviously have a bunch of heat inside of it, and it would. But yeah, okay, think about it. We have rockets that land into the ocean that don't boil the ocean.
But a rock.
No, but
Just like,
but a rock flying through a fiery, flaming rock. Look, I'm not a fucking scientist. All I know is I've heard that from when an asteroid.
It's not on fire though. It's cold in space, and there's no. There's no oxygen, so you can't have a fire.
Okay, yeah, solid point. But
it's like just science.
I just don't think they can be compared.
I'm just relaying and parroting things I've heard about.
Yes.
If a comet, an asteroid hits the planet, like things are gonna get fucked up, and part of that is the seas boiling. So I don't know if that's true or not. Okay, fair enough. All right, I'll shut the fuck up then.
Jeez, Dad, you're being a. But listen, if it didn't warm the water, then wouldn't everything in, like, all animals and reptiles that were alive then, wouldn't they still be here? Like, all of them in the water? And they obviously had some sort of impact.
Yes and no.
Can we do a whole episode on the asteroid theory of dinosaurs?
Yeah, 100%.
We're gonna need to.
Because we're very confused, and it's like not even a part of the episode.
I think it is.
I feel like, Bree, when it comes to that, your best way to think about it is the thing that you love that I say about, like, the cup you dip in the ocean, you look at it, you don't see all the things.
Right.
We don't know all the things inside the ocean. So there's a possibility that we're still looking at things out there that did survive that initial asteroid that killed all the dinosaurs because they were way deep down there. We just have no way of seeing them.
Yes, and because it is rumored that all the lakes, the water systems in that area have like some type of underground connecting cave system, like little nooks and crannies and shit. And, like the rumored Nessie's lair. I mean, who's to say they weren't just like all down there enjoying a meal together when shit hit the fan, and they had no idea till they came back up.
Having a Sunday brunch, maybe they were learning about God, and that's why Nessie backed away when the monk told him to turn around.
$5 carafes of mimosas.
Yes, he did. The picture guy we will talk about, paradox sign. However, what we were just saying earlier is that that wasn't the first instance of a animal such as this at all.
It was mentioned, yes.
It was 565 AD, even before that, because that's when that guy came, and the stones that were carved in about it were from 1500 years ago before that. So it's not necessarily about, we're not really talking too much about the photograph that you're talking about.
Not yet.
Oh.
So the Inverness Courier reported, so this is May 1933. This is one of the earliest modern day sightings. They reported a sighting by Aldi. Is that where the store comes from?
Maybe. Aldi's.
There's a store? Aldi's?
Yeah,
I don't have it.
Grocery store.
Yeah.
No, I don't got it.
Pretty good stuff. They want us to continue to talk good about them. They can sponsor us.
Yeah, sponsor us.
Check out Aldi.
You're always thinking smart. This is hot.
My favorite grocery store when I'm in the following states.
And John McKay, they were driving. The creature kind of disported itself, rolling and plunging for a full minute. Its body resembling that of a whale, and the water cascading and churning like a simmering cauldron. Soon, however, it disappeared into a boiling mass of foam. It's kind of like Tic Tac, right?
Ah, yes.
Did the same thing. Maybe it's a UFO.
Ooh.
Honestly, you just never know.
I never even thought about that. Yeah, because wait, let's go to. Can we go down this tangent. This little
Yes, please.
What do they call it? A rabbit trail?
Rabbit
Rabbit hole.
I mean,
Rabbit trail. That sounds like a trail of shit.
It's a little pellety. Let's go down this little pellety brown
The
trail.
trail of
Yeah.
pebbles.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk to me. You guys are the experts. Talk to me about what are they? U8? No, unidentified. What's the water
UAPs.
UFOs called?
Oh, USOs.
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 Like maybe comment. Tell me a little bit about that in regards to their behaviors and what's been reported, and see if we can draw some parallels here.
I was like, well, most USOs are only categorized as USOs because they are coming either out of the water when they're spotted or going into the water when they're spotted.
They're just in like Catalina Island though, right?
Yeah, so Catalina Island has like a little triangle area that's kind of like the Bermuda Triangle. It sits along the 33rd parallel, and it definitely has some USO activity. It's definitely a hot spot. There's a lot of people who go UFO hunting out there at night, absolutely. But I wouldn't say that there's a lot of instances of UFOs like coming in and out of the water like a dolphin fucking would.
Right on.
Right.
Okay.
Like most of them, they're definitely like that was.
They don't have like weird like little plesiosaur necks. They don't have like little periscopes like War of the Worlds.
Yeah, they were orbs or metal objects coming in and out of the water. Yeah.
All right.
Oh my gosh!
Not too
Listen.
many. But if we could think about it in the same way of how when there's Bigfoots around, there happens to be UFOs around, I wonder if maybe there's a possibility that when people see Loch Ness monsters, go ahead and drink, everybody, that UFOs are coming in and out of the water.
Yeah, and yeah, if you think about if you look at this again through a Keelian lens, back in the day, these people didn't know what UFOs were. They didn't know what like metallic craft even looked like. So like the archetype perpetuated in the geographic area, if it is some sort of like interdimensional being that our brain doesn't know how to interpret, right?
Yep.
You got it,
So
babe.
I guess they'd never been exposed to dinosaurs either, so that's kind of a dumb point.
Plot twist, it's actually the freaking Loch Ness monsters out here that are driving the UFOs.
USOs.
They're like the how
Because-
Bigfoots are like the scouts of the Greys, of the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well,
These are
okay.
like this. Yeah.
They're like the water
Great.
scouts.
Mhm.
One of our beloved guests, Mr. Jazz Shaw, he talks about like why can't the aliens or whatever and these craft or whatever be dolphins? Because they're just as smart as us. They underwater, like shit can happen we have no idea about. This would make more sense because
This show's so crazy.
I know.
I just listened to that, what you just said, like out of context in my head. I was like, this is some wild, weird shit. All right, go. So I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
No. But it's just kind of a play on the fact that we all know, and we've said many times here, when we're comparing it to the ocean and whatnot, that it's like 99% of it is not explored. So we have no idea what's lurking down there. We have no idea what could be actually like sentient or not. We could think that we're the only sentient beings here, but we would have no idea what lurks under there. There could be an entire different world, and
and there's
obviously
tons
there
of
is.
Ultra-terrestrials underwater.
There's tons of stories about, like, let's just say Atlantis, right? That there's this deep underground city. Who's not to say that that's not necessarily based off of maybe something that is real, that somebody actually was able to catch a glimpse of and talked about on the surface, and it was passed down through times and all these stories now, like just like the way Hollywood takes inspiration from, the things in real life.
I was just gonna say that, and like we could go into the Dogon tribe in Africa, the Nomo that came to see them. They were aquatic creatures. They were half aquatic,
Fish.
half not. And that also goes like in other not religions, other cultures. We have that in China. We have that in Japan, and
Big over there.
and
Water's huge.
more present day alien lore, we have the like Syrians, for example, which also connects again with the Dogon tribe, the Nomu. They came from Syria.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Oh.
The Syrians came from Sirius the Star?
The
Syrians as in the extraterrestrials, not
the
here on
terrorists.
Earth. I'm talking about
Syrians, yeah.
ETs,
Not Bashar al-Assad? He's
No.
not from...
Sirians, the Syrians. and that's where they came from. And then like in traditional ET lore, when you want to connect with like your Syrian star family, which also connects with Lyra, they're both aquatic planets, like aquatic creatures. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah,
It all connects. It really does. Now that
It
I'm
does.
thinking about it, I'm
Totally.
like, wait a second. Okay, ding, 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 ding. Weird. Not saying it makes sense logically. It just makes sense with
That's
all
not what we're
the
here
different
for.
that.
We don't do
It
that.
just makes sense with all the different lores and
Totally.
just like stories that are passed down, especially like in the ET world. And then if we go back into, like I said, with the Dogon tribe, I mean that was a million
Well,
years
you
ago.
even have first of all, Jamie, for the record, Atlantis is real as fuck, by the way.
I 100% agree with
okay,
you.
cool.
Couldn't agree more.
Dolphins.
We'll do an episode.
But
Lumeria.
rolling,
Dolphins.
rolling off what Bree was just saying, you think about like the Leviathan, the Kraken, and like there's like like you were saying, like every single one has some sort of like monstrous creature that lurks in the deep and comes up every now and then to wreak havoc and destruction. Right? All right, that's all I had.
Yeah, no, 100%.
This is crazy.
So I think our next sighting is
The next one, Bree.
The famous.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Reported a story. This is April or July of '93. Mr. and Mrs. Spicer witnessed an enormous animal rolling and plunging on the surface that apparently crossed the road right in front of the car. If you've ever watched like Monster Hunter or what was it, Monster X or something like that on Animal
History
Planet
or something? Oh, Animal. Okay.
It was on Animal Planet back before they really had enough content to fill up a day. They had this really good cryptid show. I think it was called like Monster X or something. But they did this story, and this plesiosaur looking thing kind of crosses the road right in front of them and goes down into the water, and they're like shocked.
I don't get this whole it coming out of the water scenario. I don't.
Why? It has legs.
Why
well,
no, I get that it has legs. I just don't understand why it's coming out of the water and just in general and like crossing a highway.
So in this story,
you know what I mean?
No,
like,
yeah.
like animal
It's kind of fucking weird. Yeah.
Like, it's just kind of weird that it was like, highway, let me cross it. Like, what was it getting? What was on the other side of the fucking highway that it was trying to get to? Like, a McDonald's?
Tony, finish the story.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
James, come on. So, from what I remember, it goes
I wish I could highlight this, but I cannot.
From the woods to the water, and it does have something in it. Like it came up onto land to hunt something and take it, like an alligator would. Except it's a big, snaky, 4 foot tall, 25 foot long.
I should have added arms.
This is just Anaconda. The movie Anaconda.
Is this
There's
like
a bunny in his mouth? You can't see it.
What? Yeah, like is it?
But they were saying it could have been a lamb.
What does that guy in the car have a sombrero on?
What does the Loch Ness
sombrero?
Is that like what is Loch Ness snacks? Like what does it survive on? Because in my head, being a sea creature, I thought like fish and maybe some manatees, possibly people.
Yeah, that's one of the big skeptic theories, and as with a lot of cryptids, Bigfoot included, is like, well,
what are
the first thing you look for is like, what does the environment offer?
And we're going to talk specifically about...
I'll shut the fuck up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Both of these kids.
Sorry. There's some questions.
Just keep in mind, the Loch Ness Monster is supposedly 3 to 4 times the size of a great white shark.
Which is massive.
Which is fucking enormous.
That, honestly, I would piss my pants if I saw that crossing the road.
I got scared of a stingray once.
Joke. I always do. So you guys don't live in this area. Jamie does. We have an awesome aquarium over here, the Monterey Bay Aquarium. I know Lindsay knows. And it's like one of the best aquariums in
the world,
the US. And they have this like big pool area or whatever where all of these stingrays, they just kind of like go around, it's like shallow water, so you're allowed to like put your hand in there and it's like a wading pool basically. You're just like waiting, they come around so you can like pet them like they're getting their scratches for the day. I've lived here my entire life, so I've gone on so many like field trips. I've gone on my own. Every single time, every time I do this, I put my hand in there because I want to pet them so bad, and I wait, and he comes around, and right when he gets to my hand, I pull it out. And it's like this thing I can never, ever, ever break. And then I wait, and I'm like, no, next time I'm going to do it.
What are
and I pull out. It's so weird. It's like I get freaked out.
Well, they're rays.
Bat rays. They're
Rays.
bat rays.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lindsay. Bat rays.
I think that's a reasonable reaction after the Steve Irwin incident.
Not when you look right and left, and there's like 6-year-olds right and left that are like,
can I just say,
I went, and I'm like,
boy.
I went to the Cayman Islands, and I went out to a sandbar and went swimming with the stingrays and held one in my arms.
That's the whitest story I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah,
why is it out of the water? Oh no, you were in the water.
I was in the water in a sandbar. Yeah. It's like a random like high patch of like maybe waist deep like sand that's up in like the middle of the ocean, and there's just a bunch of stingrays that live around it, and you just like the boat parks and you jump off and you can go walk along this area, and all the stingrays are there.
Yeah, so there's actually a difference between a stingray and a ray. So rays don't have the stinger, which no
that makes sense.
Aquarium is going to let you stick your hand into a tank with something that can lodge a 8-inch barb into your arm. So you can pet those rays, bat rays all day, Bree. They don't bite and they feel like leather.
It's not that I think they're gonna sting me, because like I'm not afraid of that.
It's just because it's a texture thing for her.
For some reason, maybe because it's like
I get it. No, I totally get it.
Exactly like
Dude,
the shirts, Tony.
I like reptiles.
I'm like, I want to feel them all first before I get them.
This is yes.
Wow.
It's scary. They're slimy, and then like I don't know. It's just foreign. It's foreign. Okay. Anywho, we missed the most cool part at the bottom.
This is an episode about the Loch Ness monster.
Yes, it is.
I really need.
Oh, and for those that aren't aware, the pop-up Jamie decided to use is a whale penis.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
Yes, we will. Mm-hmm. Speaking of moving on.
Hold on, wait. Just before, let's just say though, it's 4 feet tall in height, 25 feet long, 10 to 12 foot long neck, with that's a little bunny in its mouth.
Girthy.
It sounds so unrealistic.
He's like a,
it really does.
Tube of cookie
but it's
dough.
In the 30s. Anything happened back then.
For real.
World Wars.
And then when shit hits the fan, more like it just gets really popular.
It did. So you had these couple of sightings, and to be honest, it's kind of a place where nobody really went. I mean, it's northern Scotland, and it's cold all the time. So like
you're already co-opting my factor sci-fi point.
Stop.
So that's where this headline comes in. Monster of Loch Ness is not legend but a fact. I mean, is this like the Twitter fact checks?
That is
a little
straight
bit
up yellow journalism if I've ever seen it. / hey, come out to Loch Ness, folks. We got fucking haggis. We got the best haggis in the village.
Yeah.
Well,
we've got a haggis and a sea serpent, bitches.
Sounds delicious.
Listen, it's a gorgeous area. Honestly, that really made me crave calamari. I don't know why, but I just thought of calamari, and I was like, God damn,
I heard
that's
recently
good.
a lot of the calamari you get is actually fake.
Yeah, it's not real. That's what a lot of people say, yeah.
But I'm like right here. I was actually just invited to Monterey on Thursday, and I can't go because I have a show. But if I could go, I would go, and I would get some fucking calamari.
Num, num, num.
Anywho, it was the Daily Mail that released.
Of course they did. Oh,
here it is. The surgeon's photograph. So this is like the most famous picture of Nessie to have ever happened in the history of pictures of
Bigfoot has the Patterson Gimlin. This is the second place cryptid on the planet after Bigfoot. This is the best we got.
And it's
I'm
a fake.
Pretty sure it's already been
yeah, it's a fake.
They admitted.
And can And can I say also, it also is giving me whale penis vibes. I just wanted to leave the whale penis up there to see, like, oh, it's they're very similar looking. Very.
Well, my first like skepticism with this photo is it feels like it looks like it's much smaller than what a Loch Ness monster is reported to be, right? Like if you look at the waves and the ripples and scale with the neck, like those are that's a pretty, if that's to scale, that's a pretty blustery day on the lake, I would imagine. Like those are some big
that's
ripples.
like
Yeah.
that's like a duck in calm water.
Yeah, very small. Mm-hmm.
Yo.
Or a loon coming out of the water.
I mean, it does, and it looks like a fucking elephant trunk or a whale
penis.
A whale penis.
Whale penis.
Penis.
Peni.
Whale peni.
Well,
I don't like that. I don't like that pointy top thing. That's weird. Okay.
We're super scientific. Yeah. It's a whale scrot.
Oh, whale scrot. Yeah.
Scrot.
Scrotus. Like SCOTUS, but scrotum, scrotus.
We put the Otis in scrotus.
We put the Otis in scrotus.
Yeah, it was something was coming there. Whatever.
Yeah. Oh God, I have to. I'm not trying, but ribbed for your pleasure. So yeah, this photo is the most famous of all time.
The most famous whale penis of all time.
A posed picture. This is what broke the world.
This is, and
look at that. Ooh, look at that.
This is not the real photo. Computer generated.
Yeah, like, this is not the real photo.
Much better, but then this one looks so photoshopped to me.
Oh, does it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's
listen.
fake.
She just face tuned a little bit.
This is 4K.
Is this just a smoothed over recreation of the original, the same angles and everything?
It's not the same angle. This has got
SCOTUS
a lower.
Maximus,
no, I mean like of the neck and everything. Maybe
I
never mind. I don't know.
Oh, I get you. Like they took like the little shape of it and like redid it. I get what you're saying. Maybe, possibly. But it is. This one looks a lot more convincing.
Doesn't it look
you come
fun?
out with
like
this
in
the 30s. Now this one would have been more convincing.
See, that just looks like they took a paint bucket and made it all black. Like, granted, it's a black and white photo, but there's no nuance in that. It's
look at this reflection here. Wow.
Yeah, that's nice work right there.
Yeah, the shading. Yeah.
Really good stuff.
Anywho, it's really sad because he years later was like, yeah, faked it.
Yeah. But of course, I mean, why not? Why wouldn't you?
However, I have to say,
he saved the town of Loch Ness.
Yeah.
I have to say though, he didn't even need to give the photo if you think about it. Because if you do the research even that we did today, it's been around for a while. He didn't have to do that. Sometimes I think that people that come out with things, they really just do more harm.
Yeah,
like they're trying. You know, there's another person that's kind of famous in this whole mix-up. I don't know if Tony's going to talk about him. George Edwards. What's his name? Yeah, George Edwards. George Edwards, and he's like the Loch Ness hunter. Yeah, take a drink.
So if that's what you go by,
I'm just saying that he's
that graphic.
Well, yeah, but he did something just like that. He won. Actually, I even had put it in this presentation, and then going more into his past, I was like, I'm not even going to mention. Like, we're not even going to go over this. But
was he racist?
No, no, he's like an auxiliary Coast Guard, and he's also been he's like for like 15 years, way back in the day, he was a tour boat guide around the area. He was like the lake. He was a firm believer. And first he said that he picked up different spots on his sonar that registered at like 817 feet deep or whatever. And it looked like there were little like caverns. But I could only find those pictures on one website, and I thought that was sketchy, so I didn't want to include it.
Yeah,
and
so I know what you're talking about with that. So those were
But that's
written off
his.
as sonar echoes, and the lakes doesn't actually go as deep as he said it did when they did subsequent analysis, geological surveys of the lake with more modern radar and LiDAR and stuff.
Right. Well, then he also came out with a photo, another photo that went around for a while. And then he decided to admit that he also faked that photo.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just like, I believe it. It's real. I just need other people basically to realize, to come here and to keep the stories alive so they don't stop looking.
It feels
So it's
very Todd Standing to me.
Or
Very.
or to come there and ride on his tour boat that he captains to make him money.
But what about all the other?
But why would he fake a photo then?
That's what he's saying is like he just wants people to never give up and keep looking. So he made that to push people.
Please keep looking for this thing I made up.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like it's his monster.
I'm not saying that he alone like discredits the whole thing. I'm just saying this is somebody capitalizing on something and making fake photographs and saying, you got to keep coming out here. Look at these things that I fucking made up so you can come out here and give me money. That's really just what it feels like. And I don't like when there's people like that do that, because I think it really discredits the whole cryptozoological world.
And it's super easy to rationalize it too. Like you're doing it like this guy sounds like he was legit and like, I'm going to fabricate this, but it's for a good cause. Like, you know, whether the cause itself is justified or whatever, it's still not helping the search, if that makes sense. Or the
not at all. Yeah,
right.
100%. Yeah.
It goes backwards in that sense.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Yeah.
In the end, it's always like those people are always the ones who end up having like a real experience, and then nobody fucking believes
it's like
them.
the boy who cried
wolf.
Boy who cried wolf.
Yeah. And
100%.
you know,
100.
that's just kind of my take on it. Like I get that there's snake oil salesmen and charlatans.
Well, I think that there's that, and then you also just have people who are maybe coerced into recanting their story, right? So I think that there's so many possibilities when it comes to this kind of stuff. You have people who do deathbed confessions. You got all sorts of crazy kind of stuff. So I think that at the end of the day, we really have no idea whether these things are real or not real, unless you've seen it with your very own eyes. It's kind of like the same thing me and Brie always talk about when we're on the alien side of things. Like we can talk out our asses about why we think aliens are real or what kind of evidence you should look at. But at the end of the day, the only thing that's ever going to convince anyone is seeing it with your own eyes, and only you know that truth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because like, what is evidence? In my opinion, evidence is subjective.
100%.
That's literally not the opposite definition of what evidence is.
I know, so I don't believe in it.
No, exactly.
Okay, fair enough.
This is
why we love Bree.
This is why we don't go
I don't
jury
believe
duty.
in the hero.
I don't believe in evidence.
I don't believe in that shit.
So I tell the judge.
Evidence is subjective. I mean, I guess you could make there, but some
I think in the UFO world that it is.
Yes.
Not in other instances, but I think in the UFO world that it is.
Eyewitness accounts are literally subjective.
Oh, yes.
But credible evidence should be objective. That's why.
But see, that's the issue, and that's what Jamie and I are talking about, and that's why it continues this weird cycle, because evidence is what people want, but most of the time people can stare, when it comes to UFOs only, in this instance, people can stare at the best evidence in their entire world, and they will still think of reasons not to believe it, unless they have their own experience. Then they'll believe it. And then they get put into the other side of us where you have a story that you can't convince other people, nor should you, because it's impossible. But where like something, there's no evidence. It's just like this losing battle back and forth between the evidence and the I don't give a shit about it anymore crew.
I'm reading this book right now called Real Magic, and it's all about it's like magic from a historical and scientific analysis
perspective. Yeah.
And they have a whole chapter on what you're talking about, Brie, how like you can bring the results of these scientific experiments where they literally like bless water to see if it like helps the plants grow and stuff like that. And it's like always overwhelmingly in favor of like the blessing water or whatever. That's just one example.
Intention,
But they'll bring this to scientists and they can't like
Figure out.
Can't replicate it.
Well, no, they can. Like that's the thing is like this has been replicated multiple times according to this book. But if you give it to like a no nonsense like establishment scientists like cannot process the information in front of them in any way, shape, or form. And then the whole point is until people like this experience it for themselves, it's almost impossible to convince anyone of anything that's in that school of thought.
Yeah, it's like they can't break it down like on a molecular level to be like, well, this is why you're doing this, because what you're doing is when your thoughts, these molecules are leaving your brain and going in. They can't. The
scientific mind is literally an operating system for your brain. Like you can't compute outside of that if you're trained in that.
Well,
yes.
Some people.
So it's hard to put into a scientific terms or a study that like your intentions on something is what changed it, and so they can't. We don't.
And
have
even if you can accept it, even if you can accept something internally, a lot of these people, it's not in their best interest to even come out and say, "Oh well, yeah, like that looks good to me." You know, like your career and your credibility is on the line. All that, there's all that shit too. So,
well, you can't scientifically quantify a blessing,
right?
Yeah, like what the fuck?
But the point is, in this example, like it was repeatable. Like it kept happening. So you can quantify the results, but there's no way to like hold a blessing in your hands or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a really good book. Like everyone in the chat, y'all should read Real Magic. It's fucking awesome.
Real Magic.
Because it's not of the material. It's not materialistic in a sense.
So science is built for the
they
material.
need that materialism, and that's and unfortunately, you know, I was saying this to my sister the other day. We were watching a paranormal show. And just listening to some of the skeptics, actually, it wasn't paranormal. It was some like hunting Bigfoot in Alaska, but it was like a new thing or whatever. And there was like a skeptic there. And because there was a medium there, and they were like, how does she know these things? But then they're like, but I don't believe that. And da-da-da-da-da. And I was telling her it's wild to me that the people that are overly skeptical think that the people that believe in the stuff that you can't see are stupid. Yet in my point of view, I see them as being stupid, and not stupid, just more like it sucks that because you can't taste it, touch it, feel it, you don't have your hands on it, that you can't believe it, because that means that you believe things are only real if they're in a physical 3D form that your eyes can even process.
What's funny and hilarious about that is most of the time these people who are saying stuff like that end up being like religious people, and it's like, well, they believe in God, which is all those exact things that they're talking about, right?
It's
like they
say utter opposite.
It's so it's so interesting because actually there's this big thing inside science between the community of like scientists who are like basically atheists who like science is their religion, and then you have religious people who practice science and who are scientists, and it's an interesting line of like, well, okay, well, if you can believe something that you can't see or touch and you can't scientifically look at, can you even be a good scientist? Are you too open to looking at possibilities inside of things instead of looking inside of science and stuff like that? And it's a big I think some lines that are drawn inside the science community between those kind of groups.
Scientists already do that when you talk about quantum physics and particle science and stuff. Like they can't touch a Higgs
theoretical physics, exactly.
Yeah.
Theoretical,
but like I don't want to go down this
of the lake monster.
Okay.
Bobby, do you want to finish your thought first?
Or should we we'll make this the last thought because it could open up a whole can of worms. But
then maybe we'll save it toward the end.
I'm just gonna leave it at this. Science has poo-pooed creationism, but what do you think simulation theory is? Which seems to be
the same thing.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just on their terms, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's all I wanted to point out. So there's like different, 100%. Anyway.
Yep.
I fucking subscribe to that though. Every day I live my life, I'm more and more and more convinced that this is a 1000% a simulation. Anyways, next one.
Yeah. Moving along because we could go down that road easily.
This could be a long show, not about a lake monster.
Exactly.
We just use the cryptids as a vehicle to
As a
go down
vehicle
little-
to go down these
rabbit holes.
tangents. Yes.
This is really just four friends getting together, drinking and
Drinking
talking
and
about shit.
talking and bullshitting. Exactly.
And you're all here to
Hey.
witness it.
Exactly.
At least it's thought provoking. That's what we can do. Where
That's what we're trying to do.
thought-provoking
Exactly.
people.
Very. So one thing I want to talk about, because it comes
Very.
up a lot, is if there is a plesiosaur or
She doesn't
plesiosaur
do.
in the lake. One thing that you have to consider, and it's something that is considered with Bigfoot, is what does it eat?
Exactly.
This sounds familiar.
So when you talk about the fish that live in
That
Loch
beefy
Ness,
What
boy.
the fuck?
He ate a lot. He ate everything that Tony's about to tell us.
he did. He's a big fatty. So there's European eel, northern pike,
Mhm.
Atlantic salmon, brown trout. Brown trout get pretty big. Pike get really big. And
Trout's
so
not
does
good for you.
Salmon.
Trout sounds so good.
Trout
It's not
is
good for you.
Amazing. Yes, it is. Bree,
No,
stop.
it's not.
They live in the cleanest water.
It's the best
just kidding.
freshwater fish.
I lied to
Yes.
you. I meant tilapia.
if you don't count
Tilapia's
river
horrible.
salmon.
Yeah.
Tilapia
So
most
is
of the
farm
fish that you
raised.
die-
Tilapia is not even a real fish.
Whoops.
No, it's not.
No, it's
Tilapia
not.
is a
That's why it's
farm
bad
raised
for you.
abomination. Yeah.
Arctic
I think-
char.
is. Okay.
Let Tony finish.
I'm
Arctic
sorry, Brie. I thought you were
char.
saying. Never mind. I'll shut the fuck up. It doesn't matter.
So the Arctic char is kind of like a trout. There's a couple of minnows, a lamprey, but because we're talking about a lake monster drink, guess what else lives in this lake?
Trout.
Manatees.
I mean, that's a lot of meat, fish wise.
The European sea sturgeon.
Mhm.
Oh.
That sounds. I don't know
Sturgeon.
the dimensions
Hold on.
of this.
How
sturgeon.
big are
It sounds
they?
big as fuck.
I'm about to tell you.
European.
European sturgeon get up to 490 pounds.
Jesus.
as an adult.
Wow.
So they're fucking massive.
Huge.
And they live off of worms, little fish, and shrimp.
Hold on. Just the
Oh.
European sturgeon or like the. Oh, it's the same thing. I was like, sea sturgeon? We ain't into she.
Same thing.
Same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah, they're huge. So their maximum,
Why is it that they
They
look
can
so
reach-
fucking small in these pictures?
they can reach up to 20
Scale.
feet in length and can actually reach 880 pounds if they live long enough, which is over the
Really?
age of 100 years.
Shit.
That's a long time. So are we talking about something that's like this big?
That's a
I'm gonna sci-fi this one.
This is
I didn't mean to do
that's
I don't think they're real. I'm with Enzo.
sturgeons.
Wait, hold on. You're sci-fiing the sturgeons?
Yep.
They're real. They're huge. They're massive. It's an amazing fish. So that one right there, yeah, that's a
I
European.
can't read.
I know. Just
We know.
It's a
I'll just get my
it's
glasses.
a false flag
God damn
from big fishery.
Yeah, big fishery. So they look like sharks, but they're entirely harmless.
well, that's a bigger one. Okay. That's a nice chunky one. That's
a
more
chunky
convincing.
fish.
But
That
here's
would
my
feed
problem.
you
Here's my
for a
problem
little
with
bit.
this one. Where's the little bloop that comes out of the water?
Wait,
Yeah, so
he's just saying what was in there. He didn't say like, oh,
I'm just
we're
saying
this is
mistaken
what
for this
lives
or
there.
what they would
Oh,
eat.
okay.
He's just
So
saying
something
what
big
lives there.
lives there. Okay,
I
gotcha.
think
Yeah.
I think if you have Loch Ness monster on the mind and you see like maybe you see the not in all cases, but if you see like the back of it or whatever, like kind of submerge and then emerge and then submerge, you could be like, oh, like that was the Loch Ness monster, and then
Nah.
they're dishonest people that really are excited to see a Loch Ness monster might report that as a Loch Ness
Nah.
monster.
Right.
Like,
There's
look at this
also sea otters and a certain type, because the loch is attached to the ocean.
Mhm.
Nah.
There is a rare instance where certain types of whale will come into the loch and then immediately leave because they
All
All right, let's
realize
go back
it's
to
not
that. Yeah, let's go back.
fresh water.
Now, is it time to talk about whale dicks?
Yeah,
Yes.
let's please
yeah.
talk about whale dicks. Okay, so Here's
Jamie
the
wants to
thing.
talk about whale dicks.
I was like, yeah, here's the thing for me of why I like whale dicks as a possibility. Why I like it.
Doesn't like whale dicks.
Hold on,
Why
wait.
I like it.
It's
I'm
my
confused.
favorite possibility
Time out.
Yes.
Why are we
of
talking
all
about possibility
possibilities.
opposed to
'Cause we're
just
just-
finishing the? Are we
Because
going
we're on the
into
wa-
what it
we're
could
on the-
be? Because
we're on
we
the-
have.
Bree, we're
No.
on the
No,
part
'cause-
about whale dicks.
'Cause
Right
we're
now,
also
we're
talking
just
about
talking about whale
Yeah.
dicks.
We're talking
Okay,
about
but
whale
we have to
dicks.
talk about the
But
rest
we talk
of
about how all these
Glossosaurus.
things are in. We talk about how all these things are in reference, and we're on the whale dick part of it.
Yeah,
Then
we're
we have to
just,
go back to the dinosaurs.
We
Yeah,
will.
We will.
Okay, because we're not done.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
So whale
yeah,
dicks.
maybe we should have grand finale'd with the whale dicks.
Should we have? Oh, maybe.
It's
Well,
fine.
okay, let me just say
Live
here's the
and
thing
learn.
why. Here's the thing why I like whale dicks. Number one, this looks very identical to a lot of the photos I think we
like
see
whale dicks.
of what Nessie, that weird things that comes out of the water, right? And then
Yeah.
also what makes sense to me too is you want to know what's underneath that whale dick? A big ass giant whale. So if someone sees that coming through the water, they can
Yep.
definitely mistake that for the body being of Loch Ness, right?
Right.
So I think that this is a huge one that's on the table that 100%
So,
makes sense to me if you're in the
what-
middle of the ocean and see
What
this.
you're saying is one of the most iconic characteristics of Scotland could be explainable by the phallus of a giant sea mammal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It happens as common enough that scientists are getting pictures of it like this. So why couldn't people be seeing it?
I mean, they could. If you look at the picture on the right, the third, even though we know it's a fake, but like
Right, they have
that's
nothing to
the-
do with each other.
No, but Bree, that's like the idyllic representation of what people saw. And if you were at a distance and you saw a floppy phallus flipping around,
Say that 5 times fast.
Mm-hmm.
Floppy fellas swing around.
it's gonna look like the picture on the right because everybody
Mhm.
knows that in the 1930s people saw in black and white.
Case closed. I'm convinced.
They saw in black and
Sci-fi
white. I was gonna
whale
say
dicks.
that's like light pink. That's like nah. I understand if we use this to compare to the photo, if the photo was real.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. But if we were to get rid of this photo and we were just looking at this, I don't know. I mean, I guess if you were in like a way distance and all you saw was like a little thing coming out.
And you don't understand scale, and it looks like it's in
Yeah.
the water, and then you see that big body underneath it. Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't account for anything else in our
Talk
story
dirty
of
some more.
timeline.
I'm just saying, this is I understand this as somebody misidentifying this as Loch Ness Monster. This makes sense to me.
Absolutely.
But
Somebody.
Bree, if you were on like a little sailboat,
So I
out
said
near-
somebody, not in the other instances that we talked about.
I know,
Mhm.
but
Somebody.
I'm just saying, if you were out on a sailboat and you saw maybe 400 or 500 feet away this what would be if you were up close, this 8-foot dong flopping around, and you don't know what it is. It just looks like this tentacle thingy flipping
Like
out
yeah,
of the
you've
water.
never seen anything like this before.
I have a question.
Then I would jump in the water and swim towards it.
Did any of you guys, before that researching for this episode, did any of
Mhm.
you guys even know what a whale dick looked like?
No, not until
Yes.
Tony sent the picture to me, and
Well,
then I was
Tony-
like, that
I
makes
did.
No,
sense.
Bobby sent the picture.
I did.
Or Bobby did. Yeah, that's what
But
it was.
the point being, previous to your brain immediately going to whale dick, whether you're familiar with the whale dick intimately or not,
Quite honestly, I thought it was like something photoshopped, like a weird
You're-
worm or something.
if you're like out sailing in
a new
a
albino
Scottish
dolphin.
lake,
Mhm.
you don't default to whale dicks no matter
Yeah, you
what
don't.
it is.
No, exactly. 100%. 100%.
That's all I'm saying.
No, you
Couldn't
don't.
agree with you more.
All right, don't default to whale dicks. Is the
All right,
name
we
of this
can
episode.
leave the whale dick.
I'm
harbor
no
now.
whale biologist, but
I mean, I don't know, you guys. They missed it. I said that and they were very confused.
very.
Per
I heard what
usual.
you said. Per usual.
Okay.
There's a chunky boy. The plesiosaur.
Mm.
Yes. So, can you read this? Because the plesiosaura.
The
Plesiosaurus.
Sauria, or plesiosaurs, are an order of clade of extinct Mesozoic marine reptiles. Reptiles is going to be an important aspect of this.
Okay.
Belonging to the Sauropterygia, plesiosaurs first appeared in the late Triassic period, possibly in the Raytheon stage about 203 million years ago, which, if you go back, the Loch was initially formed 400 million years ago. Not you, Brie.
I know.
So they've been around for a very long time.
Yeah. And I love reptiles because I'm like, okay, we're back to aliens now.
Mm-hmm. So fossils from 100-million-year-old river system in Morocco. So this article came out, I want to say it was like maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago.
You know, it's right next door to Morocco, Scotland.
They found the potato. Not
You're
really.
right.
It's not
Yeah,
He's laughing so hard.
They're known for being very close to each other.
If you go to Scotland,
Is
they
this
all
a joke?
have
I don't
nice
know.
rugs.
Is this?
All right, no, it's dumb. All right, go ahead.
No, it was a geographic joke. It's
Geography jokes on Bobby's Cryptid Corner.
So what they found was the skeleton, the fossil remains of a plesiosaur in a freshwater river in Morocco. So this once again brought up the whole Loch Ness thing just being attributed that Nessie is a plesiosaur.
Mm-hmm. Oops.
So now
Fuck.
So now we're looking at it and it's like, well, plesiosaurs can live in fresh or salt water. So they're like the bull shark of their time. So that could kind of give them outlets where they could survive the big giant meteor.
Yeah.
And maybe survive extinction. That's a Spinosaurus, the really big one.
They're my favorite dinosaur.
That's a big bitch.
Ooh.
Looks like I got backaches.
There's a coelacanth. Make it go away. It's distracting me.
I did.
That's a
F11.
crocodile.
Oh, the whole thing?
The pictures of all the animals. There we go. Whiskey.
Oh my god.
Mm.
What do you want? Just writing?
Your browser knows you.
That's hers, but it knows me.
Oh yeah.
So it's very interesting that this reptile that was originally thought to only live in the ocean could actually live in freshwater, which is a kind of a game changer when you look at the lore of Nessie.
For sure. I mean, think about it. They're like, you're seeing things.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, wait. It could actually live in a place like this.
It could.
Hello.
Now.
What? Now?
Now it
Watch
could.
me now.
Watch
Hey.
me now.
Hey. I mean, this would be crazy, though. Like, you have dinosaurs in the water.
Dinosaur.
Dinosaurs in the water.
But to bring our next, there's the skeleton right there. So I want to use this to bring up our next talking point. The lake was formed 400 million years ago geographically. We don't know if they had water in there at the time, but we know that it formed 400 million years ago. We know that this animal lived 200 million years ago. Unfortunately, what we have ignored is the last ice age, where this part of Scotland was under like a mile of ice. And reptiles breathe air. So if you're under a mile of ice, you can't
come up
stick
for
your
air.
head up out of the water and breathe air.
Hold on.
You die.
But what if it's like one of those pockets that Jamie believes in Antarctica, where she thinks that all of a sudden there's like a area where all of a sudden there's oxygen and it opens up in the pool and it's like warm.
100%.
Well, you would still have to have somewhere around 50, what was the last ice age? 30, 40,000 years that it existed for. That's a lot of oxygen, even for, I mean, a living population. You'd have to have 14
if you can procreate.
animals. Yeah, but they expel
Keep going.
carbon dioxide. So
Well, yeah, but
eventually they're just going to...
So I think that you're thinking of more of like just like a pocket in the ice and there's air sitting inside of it. And what Bree is more talking about is there not a possibility that somewhere in a deep underground tunnel that there is a cave that's inside of there that maybe necessarily isn't flooded by water, right? And there's air and oxygen and dirt inside of there because it was once exposed to land at some point in time. And there's even plants growing inside of there. So if you have plants growing inside of there, then you have carbon dioxide that's being recycled by the plants as putting oxygen back into the air. So if you have some sort of weird environment like that, if you're saying that these reptiles can like go underwater, swim these deep areas and things like that and find something like that, it's not necessarily impossible that something like that would exist in that Scotland area.
So it's not impossible, but that scenario is implausible.
Oh.
It's just the amount of time, and over that amount of time, they wouldn't need their eyes anymore. So like you see with a lot of cave fish and stuff, they evolved, like there's just skin over where their eye sockets would be. Go ahead, Bobby.
So this boils down, the plesiosaur boils down to either A, or in the survival of the Loch Ness monster, a hollow earth theory, or B, even the plesiosaur is just the bones of a whale dick.
Whale dicks have bones.
They do, absolutely. Some of the only Bree has
most
one on her shelf.
Most mammals do.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's called a boner.
Exactly.
It's a scientific term.
It was right in front of you. You just went with it.
Grabbed it.
It's a scientific term.
Just whacked it out of the air.
Hey.
Grand slam.
So I think we're getting, unless there's is there anything else anybody has? Are we getting close to that point where we need? I think we're getting
close to that point where you keep chatting. I'll go over to YouTube and put the poll up.
Okay, so we're gonna put the poll up on YouTube. So everybody who is a subscriber, you can.
No, it's anyone. Anyone can do it.
Anybody in the chat.
Subscribers can use their emojis in the chat.
So we want to know what you think. Do you think this is sci-fi, middle bitch, or fact? And we're going to get into ours, and we're going to go through some chats.
Yeah, you guys go through chats while I do this poll, please.
Yeah, who's my guy that doesn't believe in dinosaurs? Because I'm dipping my toe in that lately. I think he left.
Are you? What about
the dinosaurs aren't real?
Yeah, seems fake to me. I haven't done a deep dive, but it seems.
Bobby.
I know, bro.
Bobby.
I'm just open to all possibilities.
Obviously.
No.
Num num num. She sounds like that cat. Num 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 num.
Shout out to Enzo, Michael, Rodney.
It's so hard when I go to the bathroom and I can still hear you guys. I'm just like, what are you talking about? You don't believe in dinosaurs? This has almost become a problem.
It seems ridiculous to me.
Can I just speak on the issue that I'm having with people never believing in conspiracies to all of a sudden everything is a conspiracy, and it's all of a sudden just like nothing is real.
Yeah,
this is a contradiction. That's fake.
Now you're catching on.
Everything now, and it's like you just need to like chill back for a minute, maybe. Why do we have fossils of dinosaurs? Before you know it, Bobby's gonna show up here and be like, "So, do you guys want to do a flat Earth episode? Because I found some shit."
There's nothing.
Probably.
I would love to do a flat Earth episode just to squash that stupid fucking theory into the ground.
Me too. These are my favorite pictures that I've been.
That's a giraffe. That's a water giraffe.
So I was gonna say, is it a fact or is it a sci-fi? Who's that guy? Like,
we'll let Tony go first since he's up at the top and you're the captain.
All right. Well, I'm going to. How do I want to explain this?
Should I go? Because I know my answer.
Yeah, go for it.
No, I'm going to middle bitch.
You know your answer? Oh.
And let me tell you why.
Okay. Tell us a story.
So we know there are old aquatic species that survived the extinction and everything. Do I think it's a plesiosaur? No. I think it might be something else that maybe kind of wandered into the loch and just kind of stayed there. Maybe not something really big. It might not even be like a real predatory animal. It could just be like a
So pretty.
similar to like the sturgeon,
Mm-hmm.
something like that. Or maybe it's just the sturgeon, one of the two. So that's why I'm going to middle bitch it, because it could go either way.
Okay, I like it. That's a vibe.
All right.
I'm gonna show you guys the live.
All right.
poll.
Oh shit. Okay. I was like, why?
Wait,
is
no.
it-
Don't let that influence our answers. We'll look at that at the end.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
what the
okay.
fuck?
You're skewing the data here.
You're
So
skewing
sorry.
the data.
So sorry. Okay. So we got our first
Um,
middle bitch. Go ahead, Bree. You're next.
Fact. I'm gonna fact it solely based off of history because I feel like, of course, we can always make up excuses for things that we see nowadays, and because trust no hoe. But I think based off of everything that happened in the past, and we skipped over a lot of other information because it wasn't necessary. But the natives of the land saw something. There's lots of artifacts of that. So they saw something. I believe them. I will always believe the natives over anyone. I think that they are the most in tuned with the land and their environment. I think that they will always know the environment better than anyone else that lives there, like in present day. It's like, they were made to live off of the land and be able to identify things.
Mhm.
So solely off of that, and then the shit that was written in 565 AD, I have to believe it. Like, I don't even care about any of the other stories. I think if I were to just pay attention to the history of it, why not? And then you throw in the new dinosaur shit, absolutely. Why not?
Mm, mm,
All right.
All right.
Why
All
not?
right, Bibby.
We didn't really talk about it much, but I think it's worth noting that there's like thousands of eyewitness accounts of this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
So, all that said, that's the only
Oh,
reason
wow.
I'm giving this a 2.
Oh.
The fuck? You're really playing with my emotions here. Really?
I'm like, it's just, it has all the makings of something that's not what it claims to be. You have the bogus photo, you have the bogus newspaper articles. Like, maybe that all willed this into existence somehow. Maybe that's why it's
Help
a 2
us.
as well. But it just gives me the creeps. Like this one.
Okay,
I
but
don't know.
question: how do you account for all of the native, like carvings and stuff? That was just one, not all of their accounts. So, like, you can blame it on some stupid people, but what about back in time?
I'm not blaming it on stupid people. I think it's a misidentification situation. Back in time, I think there's a lot of different explanations for what we see carved onto. How many silly monsters have you drawn on your notebook over the years? I don't know.
No, for sure.
Just because it's etched into stone doesn't automatically mean that they're just like automatically drawing what they've seen in the real world. I think humans, that's one of the things that like separates us from the animals, is we can abstract things and mythologize things and create and assimilate things. And so I mean, I get what you're saying, Bree, but at the same time, I'm not going to budge on my 2. I thought the 2 was pretty generous, to be honest.
Wow.
It's not.
Okay, I'll give mine. So I have a lot of the same ideas that Bobby has, but I'm giving it a middle bitch for those reasons.
Middle
Not
bitch
just sci-fiing
wins.
it. Here's my thing about it. I feel like these people definitely saw something, but I think that the endless possibilities of misidentification is probably why people have so many they've seen so many sightings of it. Okay. And so I think that there's definitely something out there that maybe is an unidentified sea creature, but I wouldn't necessarily call it Loch Ness, and I wouldn't necessarily call it a cryptid. I would just think of something unidentified. So I'm giving it a middle bitch. I love the lore around it. It's a whole vibe. I love cryptids, but this one is just definitely hardcore, some kind of misidentification, but I can't narrow it down past it just being misidentified. I don't know if it's a whale penis. I don't know if it's a snake. I don't know if it's a dinosaur. A log. Tons of things, exactly. So, but middle bitch for me.
I feel like that's
what?
That's what people say to people that believe in UFOs. They're like, well, they just don't know.
I don't know. Maybe if I saw a weird one, I would have a much different idea, and I could tell you guys solidly. But I just think that the possibilities of the weird things that are inside of water are endless, and so I'm not going to necessarily say that every single person who's had a Loch Ness sighting, that's what it was.
Do you think James Cameron would come on the show for an interview?
If Jay.
Be like, I just want to talk to you about aliens.
Aliens.
The movie.
Did you say James Cameron?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like he pseudo retired and just spends all his money like exploring the depths of the ocean now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, looking for
it. Oh, that's amazing.
Doing a bunch of other shit.
Because that's where everything is. That's why
you know what?
Anything with the water, I give it to you.
I think he's one of the ones that first explored the Titanic with a little robot.
I guess it's not a fact if it's like I believe. I don't know. I mean,
so the
if it's
poll,
a 7, it's a fact.
The poll
only
is
10
closed.
people voted because you guys suck, even though there's like 21 of you here. 60% said sci-fi, 30% said fact, and 10% said middle bitch. So
we have a very
middle bitch
cautious audience.
Yeah.
Very.
So I just want to point
me.
out that I meant to close the poll on my disconnected chat here so I can still be bottled water in the chat and accidentally hit fact.
Oh no.
So it's only 20%.
Are you
fact.
shitting me right now?
So you skewed it
just do that math in your head.
You're just trying to take away the fucking fact. Fine. I'll be the only one, but
hey, do we deem a winner of the audience poll at the end?
Like
of the show?
what? What do you mean?
Like I was the closest to the.
You were the closest, so you did.
You
yeah.
were.
So, you know what? For winning, why don't you go ahead and give us a movie recommendation for Loch Ness?
Oh, geez. I was trying to really come up with something good for you guys, but there's nothing that I can enthusiastically recommend that's specifically Loch Ness. There's a lot of good sea creatures movies. Humanoids from the Deep is a good one, for example, or Leviathan, Creature from the Black Lagoon. But we found in our research of me trying to come up with a movie recommendation, there is one called, I believe, The Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah, Loch Ness. There's
or
one
Loch
called
Ness.
Ted Danzig.
With the one I wanted to
Nessie
not
and
recommend
Me.
it, but I am intrigued by the Ted Danson movie from 1996, in which he plays a scientist searching for the Loch Ness monster.
Or the Loch Ness,
I like the kid. The kid one made me fucking cry.
No one
They
knows
do
what
that
it's
shit like
called.
all those kid movies do. You know, when you're like, go. When they like leave the dog or leave the cat or the horse, or in this case it was the Loch Ness monster.
Be free.
Yeah. Can I just say Bobby went
It's a
full
go, be free, be free.
Morty when we brought up the movie recommendation? He was like, "Oh, geez."
Who's Morty? Oh, Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, geez, Rick. I don't know.
I think that we need to start doing cryptids that you guys believe in because
Good luck. We already did Bigfoot.
If I was a listener, I wouldn't want to watch something that people are like, oh, cryptids, and then like you guys fucking sci-fi every single thing now.
I can
It's
only be
bullshit.
honest with you.
You can only be honest. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Then
not
get a
trying
different
to
show.
sabotage the show.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not
Oh,
gonna
Brie.
fake. Yeah, I'm not gonna fake say everything's real just
Like-
for views.
I do
Yeah.
not pander
what
to
are you
audiences,
doing?
clearly.
And I middle
So-
bitched it. Thank you very much.
So we should
And you
clearly
sci-fi
do.
shit too.
Yeah, we should clearly do the
But I've
Mongolian
always
death
been the
word.
sci-fi of us all. Like I
So it's fine that things change. There's nothing wrong
mentally
with
believe
that.
in Bigfoot.
Yeah, I don't
Because
believe in
this
the
is my
Loch
show
Ness
and I was a
monster.
tag along.
No regrets, no apologies.
Yeah, no
No
apologies, no
regrets.
regrets. Do you guys have any shows
Whatever.
coming up this week, Tony? You got anything coming on?
No, I'm still doing my thing.
Do anything? What about you, Bobby? You got anything coming out?
We don't have anything in the hopper there, but we're supposed to be. I think we're recording an episode on Under Siege next.
Oh, the movie?
Yeah, or Death
Oh.
Wish 3. We haven't decided
Is
yet.
that new? Or is
Oh,
that an
no,
old movie?
no.
We
that
don't do
20
anything.
just
We don't
came
do anything before
out? Under
No.
Siege?
or
Yeah.
after
Sounds
2000.
familiar.
I love Under Siege. Such a great.
It's the only truly great
what's it
Steven Seagal
about?
film. That's on
It is.
not coming up on Not For Everyone podcast. That's my other show, where it's a lot more vulgar and offensive. So just trigger warning to anyone that might seek it out.
And speaking of movies, Bobby, I'm hoping that everyone else here ends up seeing Nope. I know me and Bobby did, but I want the four of us to have a panel about Nope eventually so that we can all talk about it because we all got some big opinions about it.
Yeah, we got to do
Okay,
that.
who in the
and
chat can get me a ripped version because I hate going to the movie theater?
I need to see.
I want to watch
Prey.
it. I would have bought it if it was online. Even $30, I would have bought it.
I recommend seeing it on the big screen.
Yeah, I really do too. Go to the theaters. I know.
I want to go. I want to eat snacks. The only snacks are popcorn. I hate popcorn. It makes me sick. So I'm like, ugh.
I need to see Prey. I'm a huge Predator fan. I love the franchise. And
Prey is another Predator? Oh my god, how many Predators are there?
It's the 8th movie.
Not enough.
Not enough. Yeah.
There's not even as many Halloween movies. There should be more Halloween movies.
No,
there's 8
like
Predator
fucking
movies?
27 Halloween movies.
Yeah,
No, there's not.
Yeah, there is. Not 27. There's like 15.
Yeah, there's a lot.
If you count the Rob Zombie ones and the new ones, it's probably more than 15.
I am. I'm counting right now.
Yeah.
Count. Do it.
I say 15. Just off the top of my head.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah.
It's more than 5. Less
I'm
than
gonna give it
272.
How many?
I feel like I'm missing one, but I have 11.
So double digits.
Yeah, it's a lot.
All right, Bree. Do we have a show? We have a Kashi Chris this week, my love.
Yeah.
Mom's coming on. Yes, on Thursday.
For
so
butt
everybody
stuff.
on Thursday. So
my
we love
sister
you
bought
guys
me a
all.
candle for butt stuff. Do you want to see it?
Okay, yeah, let's see it.
We
real
should
quick.
do show and tells again. I actually vlogged this, and I'm a bad girl, and I haven't uploaded any of my vlogs, so you guys will see it on there. This is the baby version. I saw the big version. I really wanted it, and I have it on camera. It was like, God, I'm just going to throw a weird number out there, maybe like $350 for this candle. I'm never going to fucking light it. My sister bought this for me. It's a butt.
There's
Oh my god.
counting the new one. There's 13 Halloween.
Look at that butt. Look at that.
Thank
Look
you,
at it.
Bobby.
Look at her. Look at her. Look at her.
I love it.
She a butt stuff candle. So originally the big one, I was like, oh, we can light it every time we do butt stuff. And then when I looked at the price, I was like,
You were like, nope.
not only are we not going to get it, but even if we were gifted it, we would never light that.
Never light it.
That's
So-
outrageous.
For those of you who like the trailers for the show,
Everybody. She got booty.
new trailers done.
Ooh,
next
perfect.
week's
Yeah. Next week, what are we doing?
What's
Bobby?
our
You're the
next week
captain?
about?
I'm going to be captain in that one since I've been out of the loop a little bit lately on the Orang Pendek, which is the Indonesian Littlefoot.
Ooh.
Yes.
And I'm not talking about the one from Land Before Time.
Ooh.
So not a Bigfoot, a Littlefoot.
A little
Oh,
foot.
you guys, I forgot to mention this to you. So Jamie knows, but I helped interview for Paranormal Chop Shop last week. And we had
What?
interviewed someone that I call him a kid because I'm actually very old.
Yeah, he's like in his
Um,
early 20s.
But I'm probably at least 10 years older than him. But he is in his last year of college in Ontario, Canada. But he started his own Sasquatch, what do they call themselves? Society. So it
Yeah.
was like approved by the school in
Like Skull
Canada,
and Bones.
and now it's like he said they're up to like 100 and maybe 34 members. But it's like a whole thing there at the university. And of course, like all the Bigfoot hunter people come and the Finding Bigfoot, all the different words you mix in with that, the people that do the shows and scientists and stuff like that come and speak to them and teach them more about like mammals and about things to look for and stuff like that. And I thought that it's so cool that someone that is in college not only did that by himself, but that it's almost starting a movement in other people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like they're being made fun of. It's like people are more interested and want to get involved. And I just find that super inspiring. And I would love if we had a way to reach out or do anything to offer support whatsoever in that, because I feel like, what if in 20 years cryptozoology, maybe even ufology, even though that's a really murky subject, but what if that could be an actual like subject, a degree
Like a
that
thing,
could
like
be your
something to
actual
study.
major?
Yeah.
Like, what if
It
you're like,
won't
I'm
be a
majoring
lucrative
in
one, I'll tell you that much.
cryptozoology?
For real.
But I feel
Yeah.
like I'm majoring in cryptozoology, and what's unfortunate is that it should be something that's worth money, because even though people that are like going to work for Google are making, 6+ figures, at the same time, what's really matters in the scientific and overall world is to explore things that we don't know about, especially like the paranormal, the unseen, and with right now everything that's happening with UFOs in the government, and then the FOIA thing that John Greenwald exposed about the government having hair samples of a Bigfoot. I just feel like this is very cutting edge. We
Yeah, I
could
hope.
be on the very brink of maybe a more open government when it comes to fringe topics like this, and what we thought were like the weirdos are going to become center stage. That's what I feel. It's going to be
Yeah, everything
it's
underground
a big
always
thing,
manifests at some point into the mainstream, I think.
Oh, for sure.
right?
It's just the
Yeah.
lifestyle. Everything from hip hop to fucking
Hip hop.
UFOs.
Does yeah, it does. And
It does.
Pro
Isn't that
wrestling.
inspiring?
Very.
This
it was very
kid doing that, I just was like, I would love to have him on Bobby's Cryptic Corner, but I feel like I asked any question I knew of, so we couldn't have him on. But maybe we could do something with them in the future.
For sure.
So I want to say,
We'll talk about that in the chats. Go, Tony.
I want to say, when you guys see this next trailer on either TikTok or Instagram or Twitter or wherever you see it, all of the footage that you're going to see on that is from Polynesia, where
Ooh.
our cryptid comes from. So every
Ooh,
bit of the
teasers.
footage is from Polynesia.
Beautiful.
Did you shoot
Really?
the footage?
I was gone I Goku instant transmissioned myself over to Polynesia with a GoPro.
Filmed it.
Some cool
Yeah.
ass shit.
Dragon
All
Ball
right,
Z.
you guys.
list.
We will see you guys next week. Thank you guys all so much for hanging out with us on Cryptid Tuesday. We love you guys. Bye,
Love you
everybody.
25
all.
of you. We love you. Thank you guys so much. Hit us up in our DMs if you guys have any suggestions that you want us to go
Cryptids
over.
you guys want.
You
Yeah.
can find Tony on Twitter at Bottled Water.
Bot
Mhm.
water.
Bot Water.
BOTT
find-
water.
Bot, BOTT Water. You
Yep.
can find me at Matt's Bree. You can find Jamie on Toddy Waba. And you can find Bobby
Pinball Bobby.
Twitter handle.
At Pinball Bobby.
At Pinball Bobby. Hit us up, email us, let us know. We love you guys. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
I'm gonna at you, Bree.
At me.